Inga's aunt, Dorothea, known as Robin, then Girdlestone, who lived in South Africa, visited with her daughter Monica in 1925. The 1920s, Inga's youth, was a period of sustained economic growth and social liberation throughout Europe, Britain, and the United States of America. Don't know much about the rest of the world. From 1924 until 1930, Inga, aged 11 to 17, was in a girls' boarding school in a beautiful countryside village, Ballenstedt, with a castle and expansive gardens, some 200 kilometers as the crow flies southwest of Berlin. Trips to and from home, Tempelhof, and elsewhere were by train. There is no photo in the album of a motor car. Bear in mind the Germans had developed a comprehensive railway network throughout Germany, and motorcars were afforded only by the wealthy. During this period, she displayed a gregarious disposition, taking part in concerts. One was called Schlafmusik, sleep music, where she had an outlandish hairstyle. She in any event would have a neat lock of hair covering the right side of her forehead. She was very photogenic and was comfortable and expressive in front of the camera. However, from puberty, she would wear thick elastic stockings from time to time. One of the school outings with the art teacher Fräulein Bayer was by steamship on the River Elbe to Taugemunde, Saxony, an old historical village about 140 kilometers from Ballenstedt. During the summer holidays, they went swimming at Lüneburg, close to Potsdam, through which the Havel River flows, and Warnemünde on the Baltic Sea. In the beginning of 1929, the family, that is Hugo, Thea, Fritz, Erich, and Inga, went skiing at Klessengorne, Brandenburg, near Berlin. Gentle slopes. It was to be their last outing as a family for many years before Fritz Erich left for Canada on the 3rd of March 1929. Inga enjoyed spring blossoms at home. During the summer holidays, 1929 and 1930, Inga and her friends went on rowing tours on some of the 100 natural lakes around Berlin. That included the Spree River that flows through the Mergelsee, the Dahme River that flows through the Tupetsee, some 50 kilometers from Tempelhof, not far from the Spreewald, famous forested area. And a 3-day tour to Bachhorst, Saxony-Anhalt. In June 1929, Inga went on another train trip on the Berlin-Königsberg line to Dachau, a German enclave in the Polish corridor 50 kilometers south of Danzig on the Vistula River, and tried out horse riding with Margot Beagle and Dieter Schwartz. Inga must have been interested in French history and had learned some French. So Inga, aged 16, July and August 1929, before Inga's matric year commenced, travelled to Poitiers, France, some 1,500 kilometers from Berlin, presumably chaperoned, although there is no clue as to who that was. Poitiers is on a medieval trade route and used before and by the Romans. It was part of the wars in the 11th century and wars for 100 years in the 14th century. Therefore, the character of Poitiers encompasses all that history. She stayed in a countryside on the first floor of an unusual building, La Villa. From there she toured around Poitiers, taking pictures of some of the stunning buildings. The photo of the cathedral with such immense detail might nowadays be Reims Cathedral, not fully restored after World War II. The statue, presumably representing the power of love, cannot be found on the internet. Inga managed to unwittingly record what seems to have been lost to history. Even the photo of Le Hôtel de Ville in Place du Marchal Leclerc reveals detail that once existed. The first indication of her photographic modeling interest is reflected when posing on a wall with Poitiers countryside in the background. Ellen tells me that Inga, when in her teens, had told her brother Erich that she was disappointed that there were not more photos of her as a child. Shortly after Inga's trip to Poitiers in September, Inga relaxed with her father, Hugo, at a portable coffee table next to the lake. Inscribed sometime afterwards on the back of the photo is Diese ist Reizart. Ich hatte nie so gerne zurücks. This is stimulating. I have never wished so much to have it back. Another adventure followed in October that consisted of about 15 boys and girls, including Gabi Grice and Helena Metzger, which was 450-kilometer trip to the Riesengebirge, part of the Bohemian Massif. That was the Silesian-Bohemian mountain divide, with the highest peak, Schneekappe, now known as Schnitzka, 1,600 meters above sea level, and the source of the Elbe River. On the way there they stopped off in Hain, Thuringia. Once in the mountains, they explored some geological features such as Sackelfell in Schreiberhau and Spindelmühle, followed by a hike not for the faint-hearted. To a fascinating location with unusual rock types and formations. volcanic aftermath of prehistoric times called Schneegruben, now known as Śnieżne Kotle, Poland. This hike surprisingly done in elegant, fashionable clothes of the time. Inga's outdoor activities continued in the winter, December 1929, this time skiing. She travelled from Ballenstedt with friends via Berlin, joining up with her parents and on to Grafstadtglatz and Bad Rheinitz in the Greenwald, all part of Poland today, a bit further southeast of the Riesengebirge. Followed in January 1930 by a walk in Ville Park, Potsdam, with her father, Walter Bachmann, and Ali Winzer. After a hectic social matric year, Inga and her girlfriend celebrated the Abitur matric in April 1930, all over the place. The school garden, Sekuda, and Kruger's house. Inga had obtained a first-class matric. A Broadway show, Running Wild, in 1923, popularized the Charleston. It was a physical representation of uninhibited enthusiasm many of the young people of that generation enjoyed. Young women wearing short dresses, bobbed hair, and listened to jazz music. All considered scandalous to the extent that it was banned from many dance halls. Culturally, things were moving on. John Gay's The Beggar of the Opera, translated into German, Die Dreigroschen Opera, containing the song Mac the Knife, was first performed in Berlin in 1928, together with appreciation of the arts and the fascination with the discoveries in Egypt. German economy was booming, helped by the Western financial assistance attracting people from Eastern countries such as Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia, i.e. areas that emanated out of the Russian Pale, and the Balkans and Turkey.